All right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our Sunday night class. Tonight, we are actually covering a really fun topic called Oils for Every Age. And, oh, let me go back. Oh, no. Oh, there we go. Okay, no sneak peeks. We're excited to do this, and I think you guys are going to have some questions about things. And so we're definitely going to hold a Q&A at the end. Please make sure that you are thinking of questions as you're listening tonight. And since we don't have a big group, maybe we'll make it more interactive as well. So my name is Emily. I recognize the faces on here for the most part, so I don't think I need to introduce myself too much. But just a reminder, if you've missed a couple of the other classes, it's okay, because we redo these series and we continue them over and over. And so if you need to catch one of the classes we've already done in this particular set of series, you are more than welcome to. And at the end, when you have submitted the form and all of the secret code words that we drop throughout the classes, you will be able to receive a free diffuser and an oil. Okay, so I want to share a little bit of my story. I have a 13-year-old daughter and a son who's turning 11 next week. And while I didn't have oils when they were babies or when I was pregnant, I've always wished I did, because in particular, some of the health issues that my daughter had when she was little, and it was about 2 years of ear infections and a lot of antibiotics, even though we were working with a naturopath doctor. And I do believe, without a doubt, that had we had oils back then, we would not have had to take as many antibiotics for her. And what ended up happening with her is that we found out when she was in kindergarten that she had hearing loss. And that was from all the buildup in her ears. We had no idea, but it made a lot of sense in looking back, because she had always lived kind of cloudy and really like on her own planet, if you know kids like that. And looking back, I can see that now a big reason is that she couldn't hear us, right? And so it's heartbreaking from a mama's perspective. Also, interestingly, she's 13 now, but she didn't learn to read until she was in almost 5th grade. So we made a lot of adjustments to her education based on the health issues that she had. And then she was a very, very late learner. We were okay with that, just allowing her that space and time, because I knew that someday she would. But I also know that that's a huge piece of having hearing loss until you're 6 years old as well, is that you're not going to learn to read until so much longer. So a lot of this, our family's personal story definitely leads to oils. And once we had them in our home, we started using them with her and helped her be able to breathe, because she always had so much congestion. We didn't understand it or know why at the time, but she had a lot of trouble breathing at night. She was always stuffy, and we started using the oils to help boost her immune system and get her breathing more clearly. And it has just been 6 or 7 years now of oils in our home, constantly diffusing and using them for anything and everything that pops up. So the reason I share this is because I did not use oils when I was pregnant or had babies, but I now know probably hundreds of women who do and who have and who are. So we are excited to share some of these stories with you. But even if you're not pregnant, or you don't, have babies anymore, you probably know someone that will be, or that, has recently been. And I want you to be thinking of other people in your life, as you are not necessarily identifying with some of these particular ages that we're going through, but that you've got loved ones and family people in your life that would probably likely really benefit from this sort of natural medicine. So as we walk through. Christy, do you have anything to add to that?
I mean, I'm kind of on the same page as you are, which is I really, really wish I would have had these from day one, but also really, really grateful that my boys were just like, I think they were like 4 and 6 years old when we finally were able to introduce essential oils into our family. But yeah, so my goal is if I know anyone that's pregnant, we actually have some good friends that just had a brand new baby during COVID, and I actually sent them a kit, and I try to get people on board super early. So if there's somebody in your life that you know, like, oh my gosh, they're going to love these, or this fits into their lifestyle, or perhaps you're seeing maybe some like early on medical issues, I really, really think it's worth it to reach out to them and just say, hey, I have these amazing products. Are you willing to just try them? Are you willing to give this a chance? Maybe your baby's colicky, maybe there's some respiratory issues. I just think it's a really great time to give this gift to a brand new family. Like, how amazing, right? Like, if we knew all the things we know now, all those years ago. So that's just kind of my 2 cents when I was going through these slides and preparing. It was like, oh my gosh, I can use this or that. But I also know a lot of people that can benefit. So I try my best to share with them as soon as possible.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, cool. Thank you. It's so true. They can be life-changing. Okay, so we're not gonna really start with infertility, even though if you've been listening to these classes, and we will do a class on women's health and hormones at the end. If you've been listening to these classes, you might be kind of tying a thread or seeing a thread woven through a lot of the conversation, and can maybe imagine that infertility could be a byproduct of a lot of environmental toxins and different things we have going on in our world today, and what we're taking in, what we're inhaling. That being said, so there are protocols. This is why I wanted to say this. There are protocols for infertility. We're not going to discuss them in the class. We're going to start with pregnancy. So one of the first things that often happens during pregnancy is stomach discomfort, nausea. I mean, I think many of us on this call have been pregnant and remember that time of just being those early months of being really, really sick. So we have a couple amazing things to mention. The first one I mentioned, I didn't fit on the slide, but it is actually digestin, and you guys are familiar with that now from an earlier class. Digestin is the digestive blend. It is so safe and effective, absolutely effective for use during pregnancy. And let me just say, all of these are completely safe. And what I always encourage women to think about is, okay, so your doctor is prescribing you this over the counter or this pharmaceutical. Think about the safety of that versus the safety of a plant. One is going to be, one might feel a little more scarier because there are some people that have a lot of fears around essential oils for pregnancy. But the reality is they are much, much safer than what you're going to be prescribed. So back to the digestin, it is perfectly safe and effective during pregnancy. Please do what you can to avoid prescriptions for nausea. We have many negative stories. I have a negative story in my own family who birthed a baby with all kinds of birth defects that they were able to trace back to the anti-nausea medications she was taking while she was pregnant. So let's avoid that and do what we can to help our loved ones avoid those as well. The second thing to mention is Slim and Sassy. So you might not have thought of Slim and Sassy for use during pregnancy, but it's also a great one to use for nausea. But side benefit is that it's really great for an energy boost, and it helps minimize swelling as well. So edema is very common during pregnancy, and taking internal Slim and Sassy, drinking it in your water is going to help promote circulation and reduce swelling in your body. So it's safe for use during your entire pregnancy. If you're lacking in energy, Slim and Sassy is a good one, but another one I didn't fit on the slide was Mito 2 Max. That we talked about in the supplements class. That's the energy and stamina supplement, and that is FYI also safe during pregnancy. And I know many, many mamas who can't live without it during their pregnancies. during those early days of the new baby when they're really exhausted. So don't forget the Mito 2 packs. It's like, again, it's like mommy magic. Aroma Touch right here on the screen is wonderful for soothing achy back, neck, shoulders, hips. When your body is starting to feel the added weight of a baby, a really gentle Aroma Touch massage is going to promote feelings of relaxation. It's going to reduce stress and tension. It's going to ease pain and discomfort. And another blend that does that really beautifully is also Deep Blue Rub. When I was pregnant, I had achy hips with both babies, and I would move from one side of the bed, just like roll over, roll over, roll over every 30 minutes. Probably the last couple of months of my pregnancy was really very painful hips. And my midwives, who were also naturopaths at that time, recommended something called Tramiel. I don't hear a lot of people, it's a homeopathic. And I would it's an ointment, and I would rub it all over my hips, and it would last for like 20 minutes, and then I'd have to rub more on. And Deep Blue is definitely something that I wish I had had. And again, super safe for pregnancy. So if you know somebody that's got really bad back pain or, achy hips or whatever it might be, Deep Blue Rub is going to be really soothing to them.
Thanks, Emily. Okay, so next we're going to talk about post-pregnancy. So one of the first products is Terrazyme, which we covered during our supplements and nutrition if you were there. And it can be taken with every meal, and this digestive enzyme will pass right through your breast milk, allowing your baby to have a more settled stomach as well. So it's a great twofer for both parties. Also note that Terrazyme is also safe to use during pregnancy. And it's such a great enzyme and product for helping your body digest and absorb all of the nutrients from the food you're eating. And Terrazyme has come to be just a fantastic product for everybody. So even if you're not pregnant, remember, fantastic enzymes for digestion. And also Copaiba, which is right in the middle. And Copaiba is great. You can take 2 drops under your tongue daily to support a boost in milk supply. And this is the one that I wish I had. I went through some stressful things during my pregnancies, and so I had a really difficult time with my milk supply. And so I definitely would recommend this. I get this comment quite a bit from friends who are pregnant or have given birth, and they'll tell me that they just are not producing as much as they like. So I love to sample Copaiba to friends. And the other ones that are great for that too are basil and fennel. So both of those. And you can also apply those topically to the breasts after nursing to support a healthy milk supply as well. Additionally, you can also add it to a cup of warm water to drink as a tea, which I remember drinking teas all the time when I was pregnant that had fennel in them to help with milk supply. So this is another great use of the oil. So we do want to just caution that you do want to use oils sparingly I'm sorry, I'm getting mixed up with my words. There's one oil that you want to use sparingly while you're nursing, and that is peppermint. And some women will actually notice a decrease in their milk supply when using peppermint. So we typically tell new moms, you're welcome to use it. Just take note of your body and what's happening with that milk supply, because we definitely don't want to cut that off. And then it's also great to have a reference book. I think maybe most of you have a reference book, but there's Modern Essentials, the Essential Life book, and there's an entire chapter on pregnancy and babies. And so it's always great to have a resource book right at the tip of your hands, beyond our Get Healthy, Get Happy page and some of our other community resources. And then lastly, there's a really, really good book. I think I have the older edition, and it's called Oils for Pregnancy, Birth, and Babies. and it's by Stephanie Fritz. And I don't know, maybe we can find a link for that, Emily, when we're at the end of class. But if you or anyone in your life is pregnant, this is like a must have book. And she also has a really good website, and it's called theessentialmidwife.com. And you'll notice in the doTERRA community that there's specific people and with that have different expertise, and it's always great to lean on those people, especially when you're like, for example, with pregnancy. It's just another really, really great resource to lean on.
Okay, let's go into babies, infants to age 2. So doTERRA essential oils are the most tested and most trusted essential oils in the market. And that's not just saying something. They actually test way above and beyond any other company out there. And not only do they test in-house, so they want to make sure that they're keeping an eye on what they're bottling as well, but they have third party doing all of their testing. So there's no conflict of interest. That's something that makes me feel really good about too. It's really important. So we go to great lengths to make sure that they are not only the safest, but are also the wisest choice of natural health for your baby. And if you've ever used any naturopathic medicine or homeopathic medicine, you'll know, I have personal experiences with myself, is that the essential oils, they work and they're so potent, and you can tell that they're working versus, I always use the example of maybe like a pulsatilla or belladonna, which we know are very potent and powerful herbs. But when you're giving one to a baby, it's often like, is that doing anything? I don't know. I can't tell. Is that going to have an effect? Whereas we use a little bit of a breathe or an on guard, and the effects are really like immediate. And so same plants, possibly, depending on what it is, but the effects can be really quickly and more noticeable. So we are talking about infants all the way up to age 2 here. So again, you can absolutely use doTERRA on babies. So think of, if you know any grandbabies out there, or you have any coworkers or friends that are having babies, this is a great time to get them some oils into their hands so that they know that they have other options besides over-the-counter medications. So On Guard is a great one to swipe on the bottom of baby and little toddlers' feet to help support a healthy immune system. So when you see the word touch, just like you see on this one, On Guard Touch, again, that just means it's pre-diluted. So it's got some oil in it, and then it's pre-diluted with the fractionated coconut oil. And that means they're safe for use, and there's no question of sensitivity or any too potent for them. So you can rub the oils on your hands and add a little bit more fractionated coconut oil if you wanted to, if like for a brand new baby, and then apply it to the bottoms of their feet. Or you can just roll it just like a swipe, and they don't need much. We talked about this in our first class of oils and for dilution. So the next one is Tamer. This one is really great and helpful for tummy troubles that babies tend to have. I highly recommend mama taking Terrazyme for sure if she's breastfeeding, and then Tamer over the tummy for any sort of tummy issues, or even like acid reflux or constipation, diarrhea, upset tummy of any sort. This is a great one to just kind of swipe over their belly. Usually below the belly button, it's going to be really soothing for them.
Okay, so lotion. Does anybody remember just like constantly lotioning your baby? I feel like I was doing that all the time with Emery and Mason. My youngest is just like prone to having drier skin, but I felt like I was always massaging and lotioning and all the time, and like what a beautiful way to connect. But now that they're teenagers, that's not happening as much, right? But one thing I love about the doTERRA lotion, so as most of you guys know, and you've heard me in my other classes talk about this, I am not like a huge lotion person. I'm actually a fractionated coconut oil person. But I know that like my mom and my sister, and I know a lot of other people who absolutely love this lotion. And one of the reasons why they love it so much, first of all, is that it's unscented. And you can add oils to this, right? You can add whatever oils you want. So if you're targeting a specific thing, I actually know people who completely walked away from like Bath and Body Works because of the fragrance and the ingredients being so toxic. And I've actually helped them recreate some of their most favorite blends using this unscented lotion and the essential oils. Right? So exciting. It's like natural, it's healthy. Awesome. Okay, let's get back to babies. Sorry. So I would say specifically for babies, lavender is really gentle for babies. And for whatever reason, babies respond really, really well to lavender. They also respond really well to Roman chamomile. So those are the two top oils that I will recommend when somebody has a baby that has colic or has difficulty calming down. I love those two oils added into a lotion and then rubbed, on the arms and the legs and the feet. And I'm wondering if any of you guys use the lotion, and if you do, if you could just take a moment and add in the chat what your favorite oils are to add to this unscented lotion. I think it's really fun to see just the unique combinations that people come up with, because we don't always, I usually see something and I'll be like, I never thought about trying that before. So yeah, see, like Cass, she loves putting juniper berry in her lotion. I've never done that before. Cass, do you do it for a certain reason? Like, are you targeting something in particular? No, you just love the aroma. Yeah, very cool. Thanks for sharing. Is there any other ones coming in, or is Cass just stealing the show? All right, cool. Thanks, Cass. Okay, and then the second item on this slide is the diffuser, which I'm a huge fan of. We diffuse all the time. We diffuse every single day. We diffuse in all different rooms. But what you can do for babies, because their bodies are so little, is where as an adult, you might turn on your diffuser on that 10-hour rotation, where it comes on for so many minutes and then shuts off. But for babies, really, you could just run the diffuser for maybe 5 minutes. And that's really all they need, just that little bit. So flip it on and then sneak back in the room without waking them up and then turn it off again. So you really don't have to diffuse a long time for babies. And also oils like lavender, like I mentioned, Roman chamomile, they're all really great for soothing and for that sweet, deep sleep that we want. Another one is marjoram. And then lastly, I just want to talk about Breathe. I feel like with the whole, what's happening, the illness that's spreading around the world, Breathe is just like a really great respiratory support. So anytime your baby or your toddler is feeling congested and, you can kind of hear that kind of that roughness in their lungs, just add a drop of Breathe to their diffuser and make sure they can breathe a little bit of that in. And then, as Emily mentioned in the previous slide, you can swipe on some On Guard on their feet or stronger as well. And that is definitely enough to support their little bodies.
Okay, so let's move on to school age kiddos. If you have school age kiddos, would you please type their ages into the chat? I have a feeling that we'll have some people on with school age kiddos, and I'd love to see what their ages are. One of the things that I can't recommend enough is a really good probiotic to your kids. So gut health is of absolute importance, and that starts at a young age. So don't just wait until you're 40, right? So we have the PB Assist Junior. I should have brought some out. I have some actually. Oh, no, I don't have any in my office, but we are huge fans of the PB Assist Junior. They taste like little candies. If you remember Pixie Sticks from when you were little, that's exactly what, like you open it up, you tear it off, you tear it open, and then you take the little thing and you dump it back and it tastes like candy. They're so tasty. And I think we've mentioned in a previous class that we even love to alternate taking the PB Assist for the adults and with the PBSS Junior because you're getting different strains of probiotics. So great for kiddos to just have them out on your counter, and kids can have one a day. I mean, my kids would be happy to eat more than one a day, but I do kind of limit them. Again, I wanted to mention they're double encapsulated. So they have the prebiotic fiber as well as the probiotic fiber, and that's really important when it comes to the probiotics. Next, we have the A to Z chewable vitamins. So these are the kids' vitamins. And certainly if your kids are a little bit older, they can be taking the LLV, and I would recommend it. In fact, just like little secret of my own 13-year-old, she can't swallow pills yet. I mean, she doesn't need to take pills. She doesn't take anything, but sometimes I'll try to get her to take a vitamin or something and she can't swallow them. So on her list of things to do and work on this summer, it was start learning how to swallow vitamins. And I thought that was so cute. So she can take the chewable. What I really want is her to start taking the LLV, the omega. But we do, if you notice on the screen, we do have the omega in the kids set as well. This is just the omega-3s, so they're not getting 3, 6, and 9, so it's not as complex as the omega that we get in the adult blend of the LLV. That's why I'd like my 13-year-old to take. I'm a big believer in omegas for brain health, inflammation, all kinds of things. So it's worth noting that the IQ Mega is a little bit of an oily texture. So some kids I know love the flavor of it. It's like a tangerine, like an orange. And others, like my kids, are like, no, not having it. So if you have kids that are not into it, then I would recommend adding a little bit of it to like a little bit of orange juice if you purchase orange juice, or if you're making a smoothie, add a little bit of the IQ Mega into the smoothie and they won't even know they're taking it. And then they'll get some great brain health omegas. So next we have the On Guard beadlets. This is a great option for your school age kiddos. Certainly when they're going to school, as well as right now when we're trying to avoid a lot of, what's going around. So these are tiny, tiny little beadlets. So even if your kids can't swallow pills yet, they can definitely take the beadlets. You can see on the image how tiny they are. And also this is a great way to get them starting swallowing vitamins. Just get them learning how to swallow that, put it in their mouth with a little bit of water, and then learning that kind of function of pushing it to the back of their mouth and then swallowing it down. They don't have to, they're spicy because they have clove and cinnamon in them. So they may not want to bite on them right away because it might be a little bit too spicy. I've got an idea, a workaround for that I'll give you in a minute. But if it's too spicy, then go ahead and get them to learn how to swallow that down. So if you do applesauce, or maybe if you're out for a hike or you keep those applesauce packets in your car or your purse, a good little trick is to put 1 or 2 of the On Guard beadlets so crack open your applesauce packet, put one of the beadlets at the top of it, and then when they squeeze it in their mouth, they'll just squeeze down the beadlet and then get that in very easily and they won't even know. Or if it does end up opening up, it'll just taste a little cinnamony, like a cinnamon applesauce. Let's see, what else? Yeah, I think this is all I want to cover here, but definitely, like, if you are maybe in the fall, hopefully maybe we'll be back at school. I don't know, maybe. It doesn't look like it here in Oregon, but probably everywhere else in the country will be. But make sure you have your beadlets on hand. Give them 1 or 2 before they get out of the car and head into school. Give them 1 or 2 when you pick them up. Make sure you have your On Guard hand sanitizer and just spritz them down. Get into a habit of using these natural immune supporting tools.
Perfect. So I actually asked Mason if he would come talk about this kids collection tonight. You guys, this is so special. Like, I kid you not, I slept with Mason the other night and I look over and I'm like, what are you doing? And he has this entire kids collection like lined up in an oil holder. And he's opening the first one, second one, third one, fourth one. He actually wears like every single one of these every day. which I just love because, right. So I just love talking about how we can empower our kids to take care of themselves in such a healthy way. Right. So moving away from, just sitting with our struggles and not having anything to help support us when, when our mood is all over the place, or when we're not feeling well. And then all of a sudden it's like they have these tools and they can go right to them and they can just use them themselves, which is, I think, really special. Because anything that I had in my medicine cabinet prior to oils, that all, like, I had to like regulate that. Like, you keep that under lock and key because you don't want your kids to get into any of that stuff. Well, the neat thing about oils, and with the age my boys are now, is like they can get into the oils all day, every day, whenever they want. And they know exactly what they need. So, and one thing that makes this collection really safe is that they are all part of the touch line that Emily talked about. So they are all pre-diluted. So if you have a child with sensitive skin, they can still easily use this collection, and you don't have to be monitoring it as closely as you would if you were using like a cinnamon or oregano, which is a hot oil. So some of the oils that I want to talk about, we're not going to go through every single one, but Calmer is a great one for helping to calm down at night when they're ready for bed. I also think Thinker is also a favorite. It's got vetiver. So if you use vetiver currently for yourself, it's a great one to use at night because it actually helps like halt that thought process. Sometimes you go to bed and you have a million things on your mind, and vetiver can kind of help calm that a little bit, so it's easier to fall asleep. There's also Stronger and Brave, and they're just all so good. And the way that I've I actually just met with a friend the other day who has a daughter who's struggling a lot with anxiety, especially at night. So the way I helped her understand was that when she talks to her daughter, because they're all labeled so well with like Calmer, Thinker, Stronger, Brave, like helping her child define what those words mean to her, so that when she wants to feel brave or she wants to feel stronger, she understands exactly which one she needs, right? So what does it feel to not be brave? Okay, great. Now, if you want to feel braver, this is what you would pull. So it's just a really fun way to connect with your kids and help them understand what they need. Oh my gosh, I could talk about all these, but I'm gonna let Emily take the next slide.
I mean, I'm a big believer in empowering our kids, right? The next generation, they're going to be so much more amazing than we are, and so much more equipped, and it's like we want them to have everything, and knowledge is power. So teaching them how to take care of your bodies is huge.
Right.
Okay.
It's like, I was going to say, it's like, we're done with the old school, like, oh, go figure it out, sleep it off, get over it. Yeah, that's important to grow out of that. But here are some tools that can help you to make the transition a little bit easier.
Yeah, absolutely. Super important. Okay, let's go on to adolescence. Okay, depending on what you put in the chat, I know several of us are here, and I've got one in my house, so I can definitely speak from experience on these products. So my daughter uses the HD Clear system. She is getting breakouts now, and I noticed them changing, with her hormones throughout the month. And we are definitely leaning on the HD Clear system. So what this is made up of is a cleanser, a roller for spot treatment, and then a moisturizer. And we are part of a mother-daughter group with 8 families, and we actually had an esthetician come in and speak to the girls about washing their faces. And I want to say this is important for boys as well. Boys should be in this habit too, of washing their face in the morning and at night if possible. And the esthetician went into all of the whys, but getting our daughters doing this, and our sons, as a habit at a young age is going to help prevent a lot of the major breakouts. One of the families that was there, her teenage son, I think he's about 16, is dealing with cystic acne. So let's prevent these things right before they start to happen, and keeping a clean face is a huge piece of this. So this is all the HD Clear. Just side note, my husband has rosacea. It is also for trouble skin of any kind. It's not just for acne, but it is wonderful for acne and any other sort of trouble skin. So it doesn't have much of a scent to it. So if your daughter wants, more of a florally aroma, maybe she can add a drop of lavender, which is really great for skin, to the moisturizer as she applies that. If your son wants more of a woody, masculine aroma, then cedarwood is going to be a great choice. Cedarwood is really beautiful for the skin as well. Okay, so let's talk about the lifelong vitality. The vitamins and supplements are great for kids, and I think typically recommending around the age of 13 is when most kids are, getting to be about almost adult size, right? They've moved through puberty, most of them at this point, and they're pretty big. And if they can swallow pills, I think 1 a day or at 2 a day would be the half dose of the LLV, is going to be really great for their cells, for their immune system, for inflammation in their body. They're going through a lot of changes right now. For their brain, it's a huge one. So I'm a big believer of LLV. If you haven't considered it for your kiddo, I think it's really worth it.
Okay, I'm just gonna forewarn you, somebody just came to my door, so the dog might be going crazy, but I'm gonna do my best to work through it. Okay, so this is another really cool diffuser, and I still think that diffusing is one of the best ways to use essential oils. So definitely get your kids a diffuser. Get them like a really cool one, something that they want to have in their room. This black one, as you can see, it's super stylish. It looks fun. Pair it with their favorite oils, so they're empowered to get the diffuser going when they feel like they need it, whether it's for sleep or studying, that sort of thing. I also love citrus oils for this age, because it's really good at uplifting their mood, and especially right now, right, while our kids are confined at home and they aren't able to see their friends, we want to be able to support their mood the best we can. Additionally, I also love the new adaptive oil, which is part of our new mental health line. And it's great for supporting people or teens who are having issues with anxiety or depression. And it's also really just great at uplifting their mood. And then the next oil I want to talk about is Clary Calm. You guys, get this for your girls. Get this for your tweens and teens. It really helps support their hormones right now. Their body is going through a lot of changes. They're probably very aware of this, and their mood is changing on a daily basis, right? And a lot of that is because of the hormone changes. So I love Clary Calm. I just apply it to my pulse points, and you guys, it smells really, really good too. So if you have a tween or a teen, they'll likely enjoy the scent as well. So it will just smell like they're wearing a really beautiful, beautiful perfume. Also, Clary Calm, just as a note, it is not diluted with fractionated coconut oil. So you are getting 100% pure essential oils in that. So a little bit goes a very, very long way. So just a couple dabs on the wrist, pulse point, or the bottom of the feet, and they should be set. And I'm curious, Emily, do you know, can Clary Calm be used for boys as well? Do you happen to know?
Yes, I did not want to correct you, but
no, that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Boys have hormones too, so they can absolutely be using this blend to help balance out their hormones, and they have a lot of mood shifts and crazy, mood spikes as well. Girls do. But for the girls, and I hear Nellie talking, so I'll just move on this. For the girls and for me as well, I love to say, paint a smile from ovary to ovary. And draw a little smile in your tummy when you have cramps. It's really soothing for cramps and for just like daily, everyday maintenance for balancing your hormones. I know Christy mentioned a couple spots where she likes to apply it. I like it right here. I love it in my armpits as a natural deodorant. So if you need a place to put it right in your armpits. We've got lymph nodes under there as well. So that's a great support and placement of Clary Calm under your pits too. Okay, so let's see. I was going to talk, oh, wait, that's what I already talked about. Why did it go back? Okay, lifelong vitality. You guys, we talk about lifelong vitality in every class, and if you haven't figured this out yet, it is a huge basic foundation to your body, and it really fills in any sort of gaps that we have. And as we start to age, as we start to move toward maturity, we find that, you know, we get more aches and pains, we maybe have more sleep issues, we have more mood issues, just our life isn't quite as even keel as it was maybe in our 20s or early 30s. So the LLV is absolutely foundational to fill in any of those gaps. It's going to help with your mental clarity. It's going to help with your brain. It's going to help with your energy. It's just a huge piece as you're getting a little bit older. And worth noting that it's all food-based, it's plant-based, so your body is really quickly and easy to absorb it. It's not synthetic like the vast majority of vitamins and supplements on the market are.
Okay, you guys, we're back to Terrazyme again. I feel like I'm seeing a pattern of some really great things, right, that we should be including daily. So again, Terrazyme, you're gonna want to take these with each meal. I actually carry a bottle in my purse, especially when like we're traveling or eating out. I also just keep them in my kitchen. I've dealt with constipation my whole life, like since I was a baby, and these have been a huge game changer for me. And I do want to mention too that because they're really great at breaking down your food and helping your body absorb it, if you are dealing with something such as like lactose intolerance or other like digestive food issues, I definitely recommend trying these. And typically if you're dealing with something like lactose intolerance, you're going to want to take like 2 or 3 of these at a time with a meal. And of course, if you're lactose intolerant, you probably aren't eating like gallons of ice cream every day. It's just for those 1 or 2 times when you want to splurge, maybe you go out to eat or something like that. But yeah, you know, you have to decide what's right for your body, and you have to decide if you want to give this a shot. But I do think it's worth it, and it's been really great for me. So, and if you need more, take more, and if you need less, take less. But kind of figure that out for yourself, like I said, and what your body needs. Also, lemon right here. I drink it all the time. You can add 2 to 3 drops to your water. Lemon tastes fantastic, and it helps your body in an alkaline state, not an acidic. So my husband, who has extreme acid reflux, actually just recently started adding lemon to his water every single day and has not had an issue. And so this has been huge for us, right? Because we're not reaching for a prescription. We're not reaching for like the Tums. You guys remember the Tums? I think they're still available, but we love to use this as a substitute for that. And another really great oil is Digestin, which can be used for all kinds of digestive issues as well. So both of these are great for that. And additionally, not only is lemon great for your water, but as most of you know, it's a cleansing oil. So it's just a great oil to have in your home to add to your cleaners. People call it like the natural version of Goo Gone. if you have kids in the house and they're sticking stickers on things, or if you like to upcycle pasta jars or jelly jars, you can use a little bit of lemon, and that'll help take off any kind of sticky residue.
Lemon, I love it so much. Lemon is so good. Okay, let's real quickly talk about the different ways to use the oils. We've got aromatic, of course. So first of all, again, we talked about the diffuser and how it makes your home smell magical and everyone is going to benefit from it. It also cleans the air, it uplifts your mood. So Citrus Bliss is a great one. It's free from toxic fragrances, as I know you guys know, and that is so key because in just that one word fragrance, you can have 100 different chemicals in there, and companies do not need to disclose what they're putting into our chemicals and our fragrances or Glade plugins. Like, they are the worst. So let's make sure we're getting rid of those plugins. Get rid of the sprays. Any fragrance sprays that you might have in your home, I would, gotta go. We all kind of gotta go through the clean out, the closet clean out at some point and be like, we did that. So if you haven't done it yet, consider doing that and get rid of your wax melts. Those are not good either. And time to clean things out.
And I was going to say, it's really funny because I work so hard at keeping that stuff out of my house. And once in a while, and it's inevitable, someone will give me a gift, like a candle or something like that. So I'm constantly cleaning out the house, going through drawers and eliminating some of that stuff. So it's always a good time to get rid of that. Okay, so the next way to use your oils is topical. So again, these roller balls here are super convenient. You can apply them to your pulse points, the back of your neck. You can rub them on the bottom of your feet. Our family's actually getting away for a week, and I have a case and it only has roller balls in it. And so I always bring that with. They're pre-diluted, they're ready to go. We have a lot of motion sickness in our family. So I always make sure I have peppermint in the car, which is great for nausea. The list goes on, but they're so convenient. And especially if you have kids, or, we're talking about oils for every age. So if you're an older adult or you have a family member that's an older adult, these are really safe for sensitive skin, that more sensitive skin. So they're just ready to roll. If you don't want to have to make your own roller bottles and you're not a DIYer, just go with these.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about internal use. I want to give you guys two of my favorite personal blends to use for internal use, but the main thing that you want to focus on is the citrus oils. So again, from the dilution chart that we gave you a few weeks ago, you can take up to 24 drops internally for optimal health. You're probably not going to need that many. I don't ever get to that amount. So just so you know, but make sure that you're drinking them in stainless steel or glass. You definitely want to avoid putting oils into a plastic water bottle. What that will do, and I've actually tried this as a little science experiment on styrofoam. It's really interesting if you happen to have a styrofoam cup. They're pretty bad for the environment, so hopefully we don't. But you can put a couple drops of lemon or wild orange or lemongrass or lime or tangerine onto the styrofoam cup and watch how quickly it eats away that styrofoam. Super interesting to watch, and for your kids to see as well if they need a science project. And what that is doing to our body is, what it's doing to that styrofoam and plastics is it's breaking down the plastic and the petrochemicals, and it's also doing that inside of our body. Now, it's not doing it to our organs, just so you know. It is doing it to what coats and what clouds our organs, the petrochemicals that we take in from the environments and different toxins in our environment. But our organs are absolutely able to withstand that. We have a mucous membrane lining, so it's not damaging us, but what it's doing is flushing out that which is stuck in us. So we want to be drinking our citrus oils. One of my favorite blends is tangerine and red mandarin. If you received red mandarin a few months back, I think that's a really yummy blend that I'm loving right now. And also green mandarin and pink pepper. So if you got the BOGO a couple, what was that, April or something, and you don't know what to do with those two, or you haven't used your pink pepper is so great. And it's one of the oils that has actually been released for anti-cancer, so anti-tumor. So a great yummy use is a drop of green mandarin and a drop of pink pepper in your water. It's pretty tasty.
Yeah, that's why I like people mentioning like their interesting combinations, because it's always fun to try new things. Okay, you guys, now we're headed into the glory years, okay? And just a few moments ago when I was talking about the touch, this is why we have fractionated coconut oil on here, because this is great for the skin, okay? And there are so many health benefits of using fractionated coconut oil. And one thing is that if your skin is starting to thin, right? So I know for some older adults, they have that really paper thin skin. And if if you see yourself starting to get that or eventually getting that, the fractionated coconut oil is a really fantastic option for a really good deep hydration. doTERRA also sells a really great body butter. Do any of you guys have that body butter? It's like in a green, I wish I had it next to me. Oh my gosh, it's so good. You guys, I actually have a customer who only buys the body butter. She literally buys like 3 of those every month and that's it. And she loves the body butter. So it's super luxurious. It has a great smell to it. I love to rub it on my feet and like on my legs before bed every night. It's fantastic. So fractionated coconut oil for your skin as you get older. And also we want to remember that we want to be drinking lots of water, right? Because lots of water means that our skin will be more hydrated and healthy. So that's just something I wanted to throw in there as well. And then lo and behold, lifelong vitality vitamins, right? And these supplements again, they are really, really great for your joints. They help improve your energy and also protects and nourishes your brain as well. So in the lifelong vitality, we have the vitamins and minerals that give you 12 servings of fruits and vegetables when you take the entire dose. And they're made from whole foods, right? So you want to make sure that whenever you're taking a vitamin, that you're making sure it's a food-based vitamin. You do not want it to be synthetic, right? We want those real whole foods in our supplements. And if you look at the back of your Lifelong Vitality bottle, you will see broccoli and kale and spinach, Brussels sprouts. And then once again, you also have your omegas, which are the 3, 6, and 9. And those are all in one capsule. Those are all together. And let's see here. And then we also have part of the LLV is our antioxidants. Okay, so the alpha CRS, which is part of the Lifelong Vitality line, is great for supporting your cells and the nucleus of your cells, and the mitochondria, which is the energy center of the cell. So once again, this lifelong vitality comes in and it just supports you on so many levels, right? At so many different times in your life. And for me, I didn't think I had a joint problem. And then I started taking the LLV, went off of them, and then noticed I actually had some joint issues I was dealing with. So these are fantastic. Any age.
Okay, so the bone nutrient complex. We're going to talk about this a little more in the women's health and hormones class, I'm sure. And we did cover a little bit in supplements, but as we age, obviously really important to make sure that we're getting the recommended dosage of calcium and magnesium, and this has 100% of that recommended dosage. So if you have or know anybody that has restless leg syndrome, also you're probably lacking magnesium. So take it for your bones. It's also great for teenagers who have a lot of growing pains. So if you have kids like that, for some reason, I had growing pains when I was a kid. I remember them still, but neither of my kids have ever complained of growing pains. I think it's so weird. So if they do, this would be really great for them, and because it also contains vitamin D2 and vitamin D3. So last but not least, you guys, the turmeric dual chamber capsules are going to be what keeps your brain functioning deep into your glory years. I talk to a lot of people, and I know the number one concern from a lot of people is brain degeneration. And when our brain goes first, I mean, my own grandma passed from Alzheimer's. And so watching the progression of what happens slowly over time, but we now know that Alzheimer's actually starts decades earlier. I learned that in my health coaching course. I had no idea. I thought my grandma, who was 85 or so when she started noticing signs and then lived with it for 10 years, I thought it just showed up at 85, but no, actually that's happening decades before that. So the turmeric dual chamber capsules are going to be a huge boost to brain. There is endless research on curcumin and turmerones for brain health. Like, there is so much, the jury is in, it's just not even debatable. Also, studies show that turmeric can cross the blood-brain barrier and has the potential to build or to clear the plaque buildup, that the plaque that builds up on our brain. And then I found another study recently, this one out of Germany, that shows that turmeric encourages the growth of nerve cells that are thought to be part of our brain's repair kit. So not only is it like preventing inflammation, it's clearing the plaque, but it's also repairing the brain. So if there's anything that you want to really focus on as you get older, I think turmeric is a great place to put some effort and time and money.
Okay, you guys, we're gonna run through this last slide, and then we're gonna open it up to questions. And I've been trying to answer everybody's questions in the chat as we go. So in a minute, if I didn't have a chance to answer it, we'll have you unmute yourself and ask us again. And also, before we get to the last slide, I almost forgot to mention tonight's secret code, which is community. And what I'm going to do real quickly here is I'm going to paste our form into the chat. So if you guys can take a minute to find that, and then I'll run through the last slide. So tonight's secret code is community. Okay, so I feel like every time we have a class, it's really difficult not to walk away without a wish list, right? So hopefully we're sharing some new ideas with you, maybe helping you understand how to use some products you currently have in a different way. And I want to quickly just go through the loyalty reward program really quickly. So I love to think of this as a monthly wellness box subscription, very similar to all the other boxes you can get your hands on nowadays. And what I love about this is it's an auto ship. It's an auto ship, but you do not get the same products every month, right? So it is customizable. You can go into your loyalty rewards order and you can choose whatever you want to get each month. So my loyalty reward order looks similar every month just because of like the lifelong vitality and the lemon and some other things we use on a consistent basis. But it's great because you can always go in and customize it. And so just if I were you, I would kind of think of it as like wellness just showing up on your doorstep, right? And this is one of the best ways to get started and keep going, right, in a healthy lifestyle journey. And I know that's why you guys are here tonight as well. So at some level you're already committed, and most of you are already receiving this box as well. So just real quickly, every month, if you submit an order between the 1st and the 15th of the month, you receive the product of the month, and your order needs to be 125 PV, product value. And if you do this every month of the year, you would end up with 12 free oils by the end of the year. And today is actually just the 14th. So if you have not submitted your order as of yet, make sure you submit it by tomorrow. And this month's product of the month is Nioli, which I have to be honest, I don't know a ton about it. I do know that it's very similar to Melaleuca. And Emily, am I right? Is it like antibacterial, antiviral, powerhouse?
Yep, yep, you got it. It smells kind of reminiscent of Melaleuca, but sweeter also.
Yeah, it's a little bit sweeter, and I really love the product of the month only because typically the oil that you receive is not one that's readily available whenever you want it. So it's just like a really fun way to build your collection and add some unique things along the way. And it just seems inevitable, like this oil, right? I've never heard of it before, but in the coming weeks and months, I'll probably find an article about some really unique way I can use it. So it's just fun to have to participate in the free product of the month. And then additionally, we have the point program, which let me see if I can find, I'm going to just find the details here really quick. So in the beginning, when you start with doTERRA, as long as you're placing a 50 PV order every month, your percentage in points back goes up. So you start at 10%, you move to 15, 20, 25, and then 30. Am I right, Emily, or did I say too many? Okay. So you get to the point after like a year where you get 30% back on all of your products. And so if you spend $100 on oils, you get $30 back to spend on more oils and products. So it's a pretty sweet deal. And I'm wondering at this point, like, does anybody have any questions about loyalty rewards? I feel like I'm so familiar with it that I might not always do the best job explaining it. So if anybody, does anybody have any questions where they'd like to unmute themselves and ask anything about specifically the loyalty rewards program? All right. I feel like everyone's experts on that. That's great.
Awesome. Did we answer all the questions that came up during the class? And anybody want to unmute and ask anything about oils for every age? We covered a lot quickly, and we could obviously only pick a few per every age and every instance. Anything that is coming up for anyone? No? No? All right. Well, then I think we should wrap it up tonight, Christy.
Sounds good.
We have a special guest, Cassandra Evans, our holistic esthetician, helping us out with next week's class on skincare, essential skincare. I think that's going to be a really great class. So we're going to look forward to sharing that with all of you as well. So that will be next month or next week, Sunday. Same time, same place, same link, and we'll see you there. Have a good night.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye.